I think that intro gets cooler every time we see it.
It really does. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So how's it going, Jack?
Oh boy. This is a wild week. This is a
Yeah.
very wild week.
Yes, it was from Friday and Saturday in college football, even Thursday.
Don't forget Thursday.
Thursday in the NFL. It was crazy. We'll touch on that game. Of course, Jack has a rooting interest in that game, so we'll touch on that later. But Saturday in the world of college football was insane. Alabama goes down. That never happens. They'd won their last 100, quite literally 100-0 in their last 100 games against unranked teams while they were ranked. Okay, cool. They go down in College Station. Michigan wins. There's a 100-point game in where's Ole Miss play? Freaking Mississippi. Yeah, we'll just say that. 103 points in that game. And then Sunday went just totally off the rails. Like, holy Christmas. And then last night was game of the year material.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There was a lot to talk about. Before we get too deep into any of this stuff, we made it to episode 40. It's kind of crazy. We're at 40 episodes now. We've been doing this for a while. So
we have the extra large bowl, folks. Do you get the joke?
I'm trying to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, numerals. I get it. I do get it. I get it. The Roman numerals. Yeah. That was clever. That was clever.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to the Seahawks and Steelers for that one. All right. Speaking of the Seahawks and Steelers, they actually play this week on Sunday Night Football, which I don't know how I feel about. How do you feel about it while I pull up some hot takes?
I think we've discussed Ben Roethlisberger in primetime is something we don't really want to see that much of, but
no.
Yeah, I don't really know about the Seahawks either. I mean, they kind of seem like they were a bit of a mess as of late, but we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, it is a strange time to be a sports fan, but that's okay because we have some spicy hot takes tonight. Got, I think, 12 of them, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. Number one, this is from Larkin. Lamar is top 2, and he ain't 2. Jack, you go first in this one.
We're calling Lamar number 1 right away. You know what? There's a chance. I feel like this is more of your area. You tend to have the deeper analysis on Lamar Jackson, but the way he played yesterday was phenomenal. I think he's got a legitimate argument at number 1 right now.
I think so too. And here's my thing. So I did my quarterback rankings and my power rankings and my team of the week and such. And I came to the realization that this Ravens team is really not meant to win games. Like, it is not meant to be a 4-1 team. And say what you will about them getting lucky against the Chiefs with the forced fumble or the 66-yard field goal from Tucker or Blankenship missing. But all of those had like bases in reality. Like Odafe Owe forced a fumble. It's not Edwards-Helaire dropped the football. Like a Raven forced the fumble. And then you look at the Lions game and Tucker makes the 66-yard field goal. And well, that's so lucky. It did. Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker ever. What's the point, or the best kicker ever? What's the point of being the best kicker ever if you don't get the benefit of the doubt? Like, if there's any kicker in the NFL that can make that kick, it's Tucker. And that Baltimore employs Tucker. And then the game last night, Blankenship missed. It's a chip shot. 47 yards outside.
47 yards is not a chip shot.
It is not a chip shot on a guy with the injured hip. That is not a chip shot.
It's not a chip shot, period.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much, well, they missed 2 field goals. No, Calais Campbell blocked one of them. It's very different from like what happened in Cincinnati. We'll talk about that later. But Lamar's number 2 in my quarterback rankings right now. There is a real argument that he's number 1. But I will say that I think I'm overrating the Ravens, and I might be underrating Lamar, because the things Lamar has done in the last 15 quarters or so, I think he's been the best passing quarterback in the NFL. Like QB1. Like, period.
The
not
argument
rushing
is just...
quarterback 1, not just passing quarterback 1. I think he's been sensational the last 3 weeks. Actually, the last 3 quarters of the Chiefs game, he was awesome. The Lions game, he was awesome. I know that's a close game. Just go back and watch the film. Go back and watch the throws. If Marquise Brown catches either ball, Baltimore wins by 2 touchdowns. Then he was sublime against Denver. And then last night, man, say what you will about his reads in the rushing attack. I didn't think he had a very good game on the ground. He had a sub 50 PFF grade on the ground, but a 90 PFF grade passing, and he lived up to it. 500 total yards, 442 in the air, most on the season, 4 passing touchdowns, 2 passing 2-point conversions as well. Don't forget that. Just unreal performance. I have him at 2, but I can see the argument for him being 1. Now, am I saying he is the gonna continue this? No, but as of right now, I think he has a strong argument of being the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. He really, the way he played last night, I was like, I was trying to think about, like, if I did a QB top 10, I would really have a hard time putting anybody else at number 1 right now.
Yeah.
I just don't know who else to put there.
Yeah. To me, there's 8 guys that have a legitimate argument that they could be number 1. You go Allen, Herbert, and Mahomes, and Kyler, and Brady has been unreal, and Rodgers, and Russ is now injured, but
Russ wouldn't even really say Mahomes. I feel like Mahomes, like, the talent's there for sure, but
Mahomes kind of gets the benefit of the doubt, I think. And did I miss anyone? Dak deserves to be in that conversation as well. Stafford, I think, is just on the edge of that conversation. I don't think he's played particularly well the last 2 weeks, but you have plenty of time to fix that. Yeah. So let's rock and roll with Gang Green, number 24. Chargers going deep. How deep?
How deep?
Yeah, how deep?
That's a very important question there.
I don't know. They could definitely control their own destiny in the AFC West. They have a 2-game lead, and they beat the Chiefs the first time head-to-head. So even if the Chiefs were able to beat them the second time, which at this point, who knows, then they still have a 1-game cushion on Kansas City. So there's that. They have a cushion on Kansas City, and Kansas City does not control their own destiny. Kansas City is still last in the division. How do you feel about that?
They're under 500. They're last in the division right now. It's weird to think about.
Strange.
Kind of feels like a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover, I mean, nobody's invincible from that.
Both of us know about that Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah. At least your team is on the winning end of it, though. So
this is true, but then we went 8-8, so it happens. All right, let's keep it rolling. This is from Nick L., friend of the show. Kyle Shanahan is a bottom 10 coach and should lose his job in the next 2 seasons.
I mean, that's interesting because it like everybody talks about Kyle Shanahan and what's happened to him in Super Bowls as of late.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he's getting there too. Like he's finding a way to get to Super Bowls. He was finding a way to beat NFC West teams last year while they were injured to hell and back. Like the 49ers had a ton of injuries last year. And they were still like finding ways to win games that I'd be saying they should not have won. Kyle Shanahan he's got a relatively large amount of talent. I feel like in terms of a head coach, he knows how to get the best out of his players that he has. I don't think he loses a job in the next 2 seasons unless maybe the 49ers miss the playoffs with Trey Lance.
Yeah, so I think I have a fairly nuanced opinion here that I understand that the criticism that comes with Shanahan, whether it's the Super Bowl losses or the 1 winning season in San Francisco, but it always seems that he has an excuse, right? He has Why didn't you win the Super Bowl? Well, Jimmy Garoppolo. Why didn't you make the playoffs? Well, Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and George Kittle is hurt now, and all these, like, they have a slew of guys injured. They haven't had their number 1 running back all year. It feels like they've been on their 5th running back all year. Their secondary is banged up. Nick Bosa missed all of last season, and you can make all these excuses, but at a certain point, if you are a top 10 coach, which I imagine a lot of people think Shanahan is, you have to elevate. You got to go do something, right? Like, even I think Mike Tomlin is generally overrated, but he coached the Steelers to an 8-6 record without Ben Roethlisberger in 2019. Shanahan, what are you doing? Shanahan's this brilliant offensive mind. Nick Mullins, if you look on like a 16-game stat basis, is like Patrick Mahomes, right? It's like Mahomes 1, Mullins 2, and like passing yards, first 16 games, it's unreal. but they're not winning games. They're 2-3. They have a bye week this week. They have the Colts, I believe, week 7. And you have to ask yourself, San Francisco should win that game, right? The Colts are apparently not very good, right? So you have to. I think it is kind of make it or break it time. It's Shanahan would immediately get scooped up. That's the scary thing about it is that if, let's say, San Francisco goes 6-11 this year and you fire Shanahan and you fire John Lynch, those guys are getting jobs immediately. This isn't a Doug Peterson thing. This isn't a Bill O'Brien
Didn't they just
thing.
extend both of them though before this year?
I believe
the year
Lynch
prior
got extended. I don't remember about Shanahan.
I could have sworn Shanahan got extended. That it would take a lot for them to have to go away, to have to just get rid of them just like that. But we've seen teams do it before, so it's not completely out of the question, especially if we see the 49ers struggle to have success in the near future. So
absolutely.
Nothing's off the table.
All right. We have Fella saying Herbert is better than Rodgers. This is tough to me because
this is really tough.
I get where he's coming from. I think right now Herbert's having a better season. Like, Herbert is in MVP consideration, All-Pro consideration. Rodgers is good, but not that good. But I don't know. If I have a game on Sunday, the Ravens are playing the Chargers, I think I'd be slightly more terrified to play Aaron Rodgers than Justin Herbert. Although there is sort of like a nuance with Herbert that he's not fully there, which is weird to say, but he has more room to grow, and he's already an awesome quarterback, and he has we all think he has that extra step that he's going to take and be this world beater. And we know Rodgers has been on that world beater stage or world beater level. Herbert, I don't think has been there quite yet, but he's like nipping at the heels there.
This is what Noah says to his own hot take. Herbert playing better and moving forward, he will continue to be the better QB. Rodgers has a history of being elite. I agree that I think I feel like he has the higher ceiling because I think that what he's been doing and what he's been showing, like he did not know he was making his first NFL start until 10 seconds before the kickoff.
Yeah, that was unreal. Like
from day one, he's just been balling. The thing is I kind of tend to like, if I'm supporting Justin Herbert, I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen in the fourth quarter because it feels like that's when he kind of runs out of gas, it seems like, and makes more of his mistakes. Not in every game. Like we saw last week, he was just fine in the fourth quarter.
Right.
I feel like that's the one extra step he needs to take is, can he continue to be finishing off these games? Like, yes, he's putting the Chargers in position to succeed in a lot more of these games than normal.
Yes.
But he needs to be able to continue to improve off of his strong early performances and early on in games, like in the first half. He needs to be better in the second half. He needs to finish drives, not protect the football, I think is really important.
Yeah, this is like the Chargers are going to Charger. That's you. We all make the joke. You can't take San Diego out of the Chargers, right? You can move them out of San Diego, but you can't take that intrinsic feeling of this is the Chargers organization, right? So yes, I remember last year, or I've stumbled across a post last year. It was the good, the bad, and the ugly with Herbert, that he had all these passing yards, all these spectacular throws, but in the fourth quarter, he threw an interception, or I think in the second half, he had an interception all 3 games. Now, granted, that's a 3-game sample size. I understand, but you do kind of roll with it, and you kind of ask yourself, is he there yet? I don't think he's like fully formed top 5 quarterback. Soon, yes, but not quite. Give it, I don't know. Heck, he might light up Baltimore like a Christmas tree this week. I wouldn't be surprised with where Baltimore's going at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time still, I feel like, but once he gets there, he's going to be at that high level, and maybe he will be better than Rodgers in terms of a career. We don't know.
Maybe Rodgers has, as far as I'm concerned, Rodgers is the 2 best quarterback seasons ever, 2011 and 2020. So I don't know. Tough ask, but if anyone can do it, I think Herbert can do it.
Yeah.
All right. We got Chef Squill Actually, I want to make a little announcement. Chef Squill, Will, that's his name, and his co-host will be joining the U Stadium Live Network tomorrow afternoon with Dean Blandino. Their inaugural show. They bring on Mr. Referee expert Dean Blandino. So that's super exciting. That'll be
the
4:30.
XFL head of officiating, Dean Blandino.
That'll be 4:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, October 13th. Not a Friday the 13th, but it's October, so spooky season, folks. So big shout out to Chef there, longtime user. Getting to move his podcast over to the U Stadium Network. So exciting times. Let's take a look at his hot take. Ravens' worst uniform combo was back in 2014 and 15 with the purple tops and the gold pants. Reminder, this is a hot take segment. That might be the coolest take I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's a milk take.
Yeah, that is a milk take.
I will say, I love their combo last night. I think it was black top, purple bottom. I love that. That looked great.
Yeah, I think they mix and match really well. I wish they could wear all black, but I think there's some rule that they can't wear all black at home.
That's a rule?
Yeah, it's something. It's like Boise State for a long time would wear all blue at home, and they of course have a blue turf. And then the Mountain West said, no, stop doing that. So they would have to wear like blue top, orange bottom, or blue top, white bottom. You didn't get the all blue look. And I think there is something that the Ravens can't wear all purple, or it's either all purple or all black. I think it's all black, but
the Rams can wear all blue at home, but nobody wants them to because they always lose when they wear all blue. Like they've played preseason games in all blue, they've played regular season games in all blue, and they either just get unlucky or forget how to play football. And so it sucks because that's like outside of the throwback look that they wore week 1, that's my favorite combo, but they just can't find a way to win in it. So
it happens. I do want to touch on Noah. 2007 Brady is better than 2011 Rodgers. I disagree here. I know Brady had the 50 touchdowns. I know Brady was like kind of crawling before Rodgers walked, and Rodgers is sort of the metamorphosis of elite quarterback play. I do say that I think 07 Brady is on my Mount Rushmore of quarterback seasons. Mine is 04 Peyton, 07 Brady, and then both Rodgers seasons, with potential for more this year. So who knows? But I would say like you're looking at maybe the third best season and the best season, or the second best season, something like that. So
yeah,
I'm not opposed to that. All right, fella is back. Noah, Brady will end up top 2 in yards and touchdowns and win MVP. Part 2, Lamar will throw for at least 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000. How do you feel about that, Jack?
Lamar will throw for at least 4. That's tough. Those are huge numbers. Those are really, really big numbers.
I will say, do you want to know what he's on pace for right now?
What's he on pace for?
5,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards.
You know what?
He's on pace for 6,000 yards of offense. No one's ever, well, granted, 17 games, but no one's ever sniffed.
Yeah, well, 17 games. I think. Yeah, when you factor in the 17th game, I think he does get it then. So I think there's a chance. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, I absolutely want to see it happen. I know I've roasted passing yards before for good reason, but I do think it is nice to see like one of the narratives. Oh, Lamar can't throw the football. Okay, then why is he 5th in passing yards and still top 10 in rushing? So I don't know. I do like the Brady take. I think you have the weapons there that the Tampa Bay is. The Bruce Arians offense is weird, right? So they hate running the football, and they will abandon the run randomly, right? So you have Brady, who's playing at the top of his game. You have 3 wide receiver ones who could be a top 10 receiver if they weren't like surrounded by the other 2. Like all 3 of them made my top 100 before the season started. So yeah, I think the production is always going to be there from Brady. They're going to throw the ball a lot, even if they're winning. This is like kind of Mahomesian, or even honestly Brady with the Patriots, that, okay, they're going to win, but Brady's going to throw the ball 35, 40 times anyways. So I like those. Lamar, 4,000 passing yards. I think that seems like a safe bet with health, because right now he has 1,500-ish yards through 5 games. He's averaging over 300. So you're telling me he needs to have 2,500 over the next 12 games. That's 200 yards a game. He was doing that the first couple years, right? So I agree with the 4,000 yards passing. 5,000's out there, and the 1,000 yards rushing. I think that's one that he's just going to, pick and claw at throughout the season. This is one that if you get Tyson Williams more involved, I think Baltimore has pieces to be a decent running game. They haven't been good in recent weeks, but you still have Lamar Jackson, and I think he's still the focal point of your rushing attack.
Absolutely.
All right, and 2 more. Fella again, Mahomes throws more interceptions than the top 2 MVP candidates combined.
Who are the top 2 MVP candidates right now?
I would say Kyler, and then honestly just pick another quarterback. I can't distinguish between Herbert and Allen and Lamar and Dak and Brady. Mahomes has 6 picks already.
He has 6 picks already through week 5. And last year he had 6 total.
Yeah, and he also fumbled yesterday or Sunday.
It's not a great start for Mahomes, but we've seen before with this guy, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So
right. And in fairness, he does have like 16 passing touchdowns this season. So
he does.
Mahomes is the one player in NFL history that just like saves bad performances. It's kind of like what LeBron does. Like when in his Cavs days or his Heat days, he might not have the best game, but then you look up and he has like 27, 6 and 6. It's like, huh? How did he do that? And then you look at Mahomes, and to me, the Baltimore game is a perfect example that he didn't play well in that game. A lot of his yards came after the catch. A lot of his yards were like bailed out a little bit by the receivers. His one deep touchdown was underthrown and probably should have been batted away by the Ravens defensive back, but it wasn't. It was a nice play by Robinson. But you look at that, and he played like an average quarterback, and then he ends up with 350 yards and 3 touchdowns.
If that's average for him, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's how scary it is. Yeah, that's scary. And I have a question for you. How much do you judge stats versus what you watch?
I think stats are a byproduct of what I see on the field. Like I kind of want to watch what I see on the field, and then the stats kind of just come along with it, whether or not it's a good performance or not. Okay. I feel like what you see, the on-field product is a lot more important to me than stats. Like stats are still important, don't get me wrong, but
yeah, I agree. I like even like Stafford against the Seahawks had 365 yards, but you think about it, and did he really deserve 365?
Did he play yards? That well? I'd say more of a second half. Again, we'll get into it later, but I'm not out here saying that he had a perfect game just because he had like 300 something pass yards.
Right. All right. Last one. This is from 7 Goats. Brady wins MVP number 4 and Super Bowl MVP number 6. That's unfathomable to me. 6 Super Bowl MVPs. In the modern
it's ridiculous
NFL.
If he can do it, and it's Tom Brady, so who the hell knows? I just don't know if the Bucs get back.
Yeah, this is a loaded NFC. There are 4 real contenders. You have obviously you guys, and then the Cardinals and Bucs. Actually, throw the Cowboys in. I think you have 5
like Dallas looks really good this year, actually.
Like Dallas has been really good defensively, and they've been so explosive on offense that it's
Trayvon Diggs is a top 5 cornerback.
Okay, I'm going to have some pushback on that. I love the interception numbers, but he does get beat in coverage a lot. It's kind of like Marcus Peters, but and both of us are familiar with Marcus Peters.
Yeah, we are.
But yes, you have the interceptions, but look at Xavier Howard right now. He has 1 interception this year. He allowed 3 touchdowns to Tampa the other day.
I think that's fair.
It's feast or famine. I understand that so far it's been a lot of feast. The man has 6 interceptions in 5 games. That doesn't happen very often. But I will have some pushback there. He is my all-pro cornerback too, behind Marshawn Lattimore this season. But I will say that the production there, I don't know if it continues the entire way.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that in future weeks. I mean, obviously he's had a fantastic start to the year, but again, things can change. So we'll just have to see what he can put up, what numbers he can put up.
Yeah, so let's go. We have a chat question from Hoops himself. Fantasy football. Do I trade away Thielen? He hasn't done well the past couple of
I
weeks.
have this question too.
Oh, okay. First off, tune in to our fantasy football show tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. About an hour to an hour to an hour and a half after we get off the air. So they will answer all of your fantasy questions. But I would say be patient with Thielen. He's probably your wide receiver 3, maybe wide receiver 4. Maybe he ended up being your wide receiver 2, and hopefully you got someone behind him. It depends on the compensation. That's what every fantasy trade's about. If you get compensated properly for it, then the trade works. But if you're trading Thielen to get, I don't know, Russell Gage, that's not a good trade.
Yeah, I would not trade Thielen for Russell Gage. I'd say that right now. Yeah, I'd probably be patient with him too. I'm being very patient with him. What is it, week 6 now? And he's still there starting for me. So,
yeah. Also, big shout out, Paris Campbell came in clutch with 7 points for me last night. I got the W in the Work Chat League.
Nicely done.
Yeah. So, Jack, hit us with I guess topic number 1. If you don't want to count hot takes as a topic.
It was definitely our first segment though, but
yes.
Yeah, we'll jump on the Thursday night. This was quite the game, to say the least, between the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams won that one 26-17. I thought this was going to be an explosive game. The Rams offense looks like it's back in form. The Seahawks offense, I mean, with Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, who the hell knows? I mean, this was supposed to be a shootout. And at the end of the first half, it was 7-3. Seahawks.
Yes, it probably should have been 10-3, but Jason
scoreless
Myers
first quarter. It should have been, I'd say 7-10, because I think the Rams should have scored a touchdown. Matthew Stafford made a Jared Goff mistake. He ran out. The Rams had like, what was it, 3rd and goal. He rolled out to his right forever trying to throw the pass. He should have thrown it away, thrown it into the stands. He gives it right to Quandre Diggs. Diggs, man.
That was pathetic.
He can't stop getting these cheap interceptions against the Rams, whether it's Goff or Stafford. Stafford knew he made it. Yeah, that was horrible. That was terrible. I was angry, but the Rams got pretty lucky because the Seahawks ended up missing. They had a touchdown get taken off the board, and then the Seahawks missed the kick. This was a terrible week for kickers, by the way. Spoiler alert. We're going to get into that a lot.
There's like 25 total missed kicks, extra points, and field goals.
It was ridiculous.
It was up there. I do want to give a shout out Russell Wilson. I know he's injured now, and I know he's going to be out for the next month, at least the next month. He might be out up to 8 weeks, but he was awesome against LA. I know he had the interception, but that was like a tipped ball that isn't really his fault. Ramsey made an unbelievable
made a ridiculous play on that one.
That's not Wilson's fault. That is just Jalen Ramsey being a potential Hall of Fame corner there.
Remember last week I brought that up?
Yes. Good times were had by all. So you look at that and you're saying, not really his fault. And then he is dropping dime after dime after dime, and then he gets injured. And it's just, what a bummer. All of us said coming into the season that all 4 NFC West teams are going to be competitive. This could be the year that all 4 of them make the playoffs. And it is looking increasingly unlikely because
right now
Seattle's 2-3.
Yeah. Right now I have the feeling it's Arizona and LA. That's it. I don't see it really anymore with the 49ers. It feels like they're a little inconsistent, especially with their quarterback situation in flux. And the Seahawks, without Russell Wilson, I mean, good luck. There's not really a whole lot more that needs to be said.
Geno Smith.
He came in and
158.3 Smith.
He led an 98-yard touchdown drive, and I was mad. I wanted Raheem Morris off that sideline. I was like, I'm getting a little tired of his bend but don't break defensive style because it's bad because you make one key mistake, and the Rams don't have a lot of depth at cornerback, especially with Darius Williams going to IR today. Jalen Ramsey's all you got. I mean, technically, you had Nick Scott make the interception to win the game at the end. That was a fantastic interception, but I
mean, was it Lockett
wasn't
that
really
fell
his
down?
fault because Lockett fell down.
Yeah,
And
Lockett just like flops, and then like Geno is
talk,
like, "What?" Geno threw the ball before Lockett fell down. That's the funniest part.
Talking about Nick Scott, this is the first time I've said his name and not been screaming why again, because like he was the guy that got between Johnny Hecker and the long snapper in Indianapolis. Every time I hear his name, it's been bad things. This was the only time I was like, finally he did something good.
Yes, and he was
Robert
just
Woods had a hell
happened
of
to
a
be in the
night.
right spot. Woods $150. Also, Cup had 95. Deshaun Jackson 1 catch, 68 yards because Deshaun Jackson.
It was a
So
catch and
a
run. That was
fun,
one that broke it
fun day.
open.
A fun day.
Really fun day, but the Rams got the win. I think Matthew Stafford played better in the second half. I thought his first half, we mentioned that he just made a bunch of mistakes that were unforced errors, and it sucked to see, but that's going to happen. I've said before, there would still be growing pains with this offense. Stafford will be fine. Matt Gay will be fine. He had two kicks that went out of bounds. I still think he'll be fine.
Yeah,
He was really
come on. How are you kicking the ball out of bounds? I understand missing field goals, but kicking out of bounds twice?
It was windy. I'm blaming the wind. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna blame the wind on that one. I think Matt Gay is gonna be fine though. He was really consistent before then. It happens.
Fair.
Everyone has bad games.
This is fair.
And
remember Mason Crosby, that albatross of a game he had against, was it Detroit that he missed?
It was Detroit. He missed like 5 kicks against Detroit. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think it will be fine overall. The Rams have a pretty easy schedule going forward. They've got the Giants, then they've got, I believe, the Jaguars and Texans. Not sure about the order, but I know those are the next 3 teams.
Yeah.
Most importantly for the Seahawks, it was their first ever loss in those eyesore green uniforms.
No, those are thumbs up.
Action green or whatever.
Yeah, I like them.
I will say, I like that they tried something with a trim color. Like the green is more of a trim color than anything else. I like that they tried something with that. In the future, though, I think just wear those gray ones that you have. I think those gray ones are solid. Yeah.
Did you know that I own a Seattle Seahawks jersey?
I did not.
I own
the Seahawks actually have pretty good jerseys, though.
Yeah,
outside of the tennis ball action green that they.
No, I like the action green one. If Josh Gordon was still in the Seahawks, I would have gotten one.
It is unique. We'll put it that way. I'm not one to talk about uniforms, though. Apparently,
I have an inverted color rush for the Ravens. So what do I know? Speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, I do want to touch on Hoops himself here again. Thoughts on the Bears? Okay, in fairness, this is a lot of negative on the Raiders, but I thought the Bears played well enough defensively that you're kind of in that 2019 Steelers mold that you kind of hope the offense works and the defense is going to be really good. So I am going to be honest, I was not thrilled looking at the Chicago Bears defense this season. I was saying, okay, you have Mac, you have Roquan Smith, you have, Eddie Jackson. He's supposed to be good, right? And it's like, but hey, they're playing.
Really meh. Ever since week 1, though, I feel like they've picked it up.
Yeah, they were killed week 1. There were some miscommunications and coverage busts, which happened.
Eddie Jackson just not touching Van Jefferson. That was hilarious.
That was pathetic. Yeah. So you look, I think Chicago is really like rounded into form defensively, and they do just enough on offense. I will say that Andy Dalton looks a tiny bit better than Justin Fields, but you're kind of entrenched with Fields. That's the goofy thing with how this whole thing works, because winning is the most important thing. And they're 2-0 or 2-1 with Fields. They won the last 2. Granted, it was Detroit and Vegas, who's now without a coach that we will touch on later. But I don't know. I think the Bears are trending up. They've moved up 13 spots in my power rankings in 2 weeks, but that's just from playing competent football while the rest of the league just throws their hands up.
I mean, hey, that's a step up from the Bears we all know and love. So
this is true. Stephen Cordell Patterson is finally the running back we all wanted. Atlanta is looking, I don't want to say good, but they're looking a lot better than they did the first few weeks of the season.
He had like a 3-touchdown game as a receiver too. Like
they really should be 3-2. I think they were the better team against Washington, but they unfortunately lost that game. But hey, you're only one game behind the Saints. You're only one game behind the Falcons. Or sorry, one game behind the Panthers. 2 games behind the Bucks. So, but the Bucks do have the tiebreaker. So the Falcons are doing things. I agree. Dalton is better. I did say before the season that I liked Fields to raise the floor of the offense. He hasn't done that. The Bears not wanted him to do that. They were not like running a ton of option plays. It was not a Lamar Jackson game plan or even a Trey Lance game plan. He had 18 carries, 19 carries, something, a lot of carries, maybe 16 carries. He had a lot of carries against Arizona, but Chicago's really not trying to do that. So,
yeah.
Who knows? Who
Maybe.
knows?
What are we moving on to here?
Pick a game and let's go.
Let's okay, I've got the perfect one. Green Bay, Cincinnati.
Game, Mason Crosby missed 4 kicks in the game. He missed 3 kicks in the span of 4 game minutes. He missed with 2 minutes to go in regulation. He missed like at the end of regulation. Then he missed 2 minutes into overtime. This was a fun game for 55 minutes, and then it went totally off the rails.
I heard that Fox actually cut away from the game because it was going on for so long that they actually, in some areas, cut away from it. Some people didn't get to see the ending. Crosby ultimately did make a kick for the win, but
cut in the opposite direction. 7 field goal attempts for Mason Crosby. 7. Granted, if he had made the first one, he only would have been 4 for 4. Maybe 5 for 5 if McPherson hits. But that's why you draft a kicker in the 5th round, so he can hit the flag on the very top of the goalpost.
Oh, that was so brutal. The poor dude thought he made it.
He's like, yeah, we're gonna win. And then he's like,
fair. It's like, do they consider over the goalpost good or no? Like over the goalpost. Do they consider it good or no?
The goalpost like extends to a higher ethereal plane. So yes, if you hit it over the goalpost, I believe that's in. It was very close.
Yeah.
Jeez. That was.
It looks no good on the replay.
Excruciatingly close. So.
That sucks. Packers, though, I mean, you should. I feel like the Packers are too good to be playing close games against the Bengals. To be fair, I think the Bengals are starting to figure it out too.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are trending in the right direction. Joe Burrow had another good game. Jamar Chase, to me, is playing like an all-pro receiver.
My point being, though, I still rate the Packers a lot highly above the Bengals. They should have won this game, but it should not have been this close.
Fair. I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that. So big props to Aaron Rodgers. Devontae Adams had 200 yards. First receiver this season, I believe, to have 200 yards. So big props there. Killed the Cincinnati secondary. So, yeah, with that said, let's pick another game and let's move on.
What's an interesting one that we can talk about? Let's go Browns-Chargers. This one had a lot of hype, and it lived up. I'm going to say this right now. Everybody knows me and my notorious Charger hatred. As much as I may hate the franchise, oh my God, are they a good team this year? Yes. They look scary. They actually look pretty scary. I don't know how deep they're going to go in the playoffs. We touched on this a little bit in hot takes. I still kind of want to see a little more out of them. But right now, oh boy, it looks good.
That was a clinic. Offensively, both teams were able to move the ball. Baker had 300 yards. Chubb led the NFL in rushing. Eckler had 3 touchdowns. Mike Williams had 2 touchdowns. Herbert had 5 total touchdowns. And Njoku had 149 yards, led all tight ends.
Njoku was eating. It was crazy. Like the Chargers would score a touchdown, and then the Browns instantly just 71 yards the other way with Njoku.
What a game. That was an incredible game. And I don't blame Baker. Don't blame Baker for this one. There's a lot of things Baker struggles with. He struggled the last couple weeks. Did not struggle against the Chargers. That he played very well. If you want to blame anything, it was a conservative game plan late after Vizcaino missed the extra point, and it was 42-41. So that's the only complaint I have.
Yeah, I feel like they played a little bit too conservative too, and especially too because like you had the Browns defense literally pushing Eckler into the end zone to guarantee that they would get the ball back. Like that was the
That
funniest
was so
thing ever.
funny.
Eckler didn't want to
Yeah.
score; he wanted to burn the clock, and the Seahawks are just like, "Nah, get in there." Or the Seahawks, the Browns are just like, "Get in there."
Oh yeah.
Um,
So what a game all around. Miles
that
Garrett had
was a
another
banger.
solid performance. Wyatt Teller, Corey Linsley, offensive line played great on both sides. Defensively, if the Browns were really, really good for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then you allow 47. I don't know about that.
Remember when I said Justin Herbert tends to kind of flame out in the fourth quarter? This was not one of those games.
No, he went flame on. Oh, he was unbelievable. He was sensational. I think he's definitely established himself. Definitely as a top 10 quarterback. I think you can start having that conversation inside the top 5, right? Potentially in the top 5.
We should just kind of go rapid fire through the rest of these games here, and then
All right, we can touch on.
Yeah.
Then we can touch on your hockey and both of our baseballs.
Exactly. Pretty much. Actually, I think we should actually kind of get to the big one on that happened yesterday. I think that's an important one.
Okay. Before we get to that, I do want to have an apology, Bills fans. Come in close. Turn the volume up a little bit. I'll get closer to the microphone. I apologize for being wrong about your football team. Your defense is legit. I am aware that you played garbage opposition for 3 consecutive weeks, but against Kansas City, against one of the best offenses in the NFL, against perhaps the best quarterback in the NFL, against perhaps the best wide receiver in the NFL, and against perhaps the best tight end in the NFL, you decided, LOL, we're going to smack them. And you did a fantastic job. You did give up some yards late, but I'm not going to count those against you. In my eyes, you allowed like 200 yards and 15 points. So congratulations, Buffalo. You have moved number 1 in my power rankings. I still don't trust Josh Allen this year, but Josh Allen was sublime, special, spectacular, whatever S word you want to use besides that S word. He was great.
Yeah, he played a fantastic game. The Chiefs hangover, man. I really don't know what else to say. I feel like they're experiencing the effects of it.
Perhaps.
The Bills just played a fantastic game all around too. So
we do have breaking news. The Houston Astros will be facing the Boston Red Sox in a rematch of the 2018 American League Championship Series. How do you feel about that, Jack?
Not again. At least they're not cheating this time. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I think they're playing legit. They're still a very solid team. I think both of us have agreed in the past too. They did not need to cheat.
Yes, they scored. They won Game 7 of the 20. I'm sorry, Jack. They won Game 7 on in Los Angeles.
I'm just gonna drop this real quick. It's okay. Don't know if we'll get one.
It's a family-friendly show, or else I would have probably flipped you off with both fingers.
Don't know if we'll get another one of those hats this year because Walker Buehler is starting tonight for the Dodgers. But
Buehler, Ferris.
I mean, I love what he does, but he's got to come up clutch here. But that's for another time. Should we get to Monday night?
Oh man. Yeah. Yes. Give me your thoughts first, from a non-Ravens.
Yeah. I'm sorry about your voice. I know you. You mentioned that in the chat, but
you're good.
Oh boy, this game was a snooze fest to me at first. Like when it started out, it was 7-0, I think at the half, 7-3, something like that. I don't even remember what the score was. It was
10-3 at the half. I think it was 10-3 at the half because Rigoberto Sanchez came in. Blankenship was injured. Sanchez comes in, misses the field goal, but Marlon's offside. Idiot. So the Colts get a free. Oh, frick you, Brewers. Okay. Anyways, let me turn off my phone. Sanchez misses the field goal. Blankenship comes in, nails it. It's 10-3 going into the half. And then you're thinking, okay. And then Indianapolis gets the ball. They score again. It's like, again, 16-3. And then Baltimore has this unbelievable drive. They get down to the goal line. Lamar fumbles. I didn't think. Okay, here's my thing. I didn't think it was a fumble, but I get why it stood because it was inconclusive. If they had called it a fumble on the field, they did call it a fumble on the field.
Yeah, it looked like
It stands.
to me, it looked like the ball moved like just a little bit, like it shifted ever so slightly, like just before his knee hit the ground. But
Yeah,
that's just
to
what I saw. It
me,
was really close in real
that's
time.
like kind of the tucking motion, and then it moves. So if he had been called down, I think it stands as down. But he was called as fumble, and they ruled it as a fumble.
Yeah, like you said, I think that's just a call in the field moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the game pretty much by halftime. I was like, this has taken a back seat to all the Jon Gruden stuff that was going on, which we'll touch on in a second. But I was like, there is still a football game that needs to be played.
Yes.
These teams can. We know that the Ravens offense can just break loose at any moment and just go off. And oh boy, once they got going,
And now, say what you will about Indianapolis missing pieces in the secondary, whether it's Yassine or the other Xavier Rhodes or George Odom was playing important snaps.
If they're missing pieces on their defense, then you would think it's up to their offense to make sure the margin gets bigger on the scoreboard.
And they went missed field goal or blocked field goal. I'm sorry. After they took a 22-3 lead, they went field goal. They kicked a field goal, so it's 25-9. Ooh, scary 16-point lead. Baltimore touchdown, 2-point conversion. Indianapolis blocked field goal. Baltimore touchdown, 2-point conversion, tie game. Indianapolis misses a field goal. I do want to say humongous shout out Calais Campbell. Had a huge 4-yard TFL on third down of Taylor. And then the fourth down said, boop.
With it, I usually when I see people blocking field goals, I see them do it with like their chest or sometimes their helmet even, or like their arm. He just got his hand on that thing and just smacked it down.
Yeah,
that was awesome to watch.
6'7", 6'8". He was unreal.
He took over that game. He was crazy. And
that was critical because you have to expect Blankenship's going to make one of the two, right? And if he makes either of them, the game's over. You have to force the ball down the field, and you're kind of screwed. Lamar Jackson was unbelievable. I made a video last week talking about how he's an elite passer now. I don't want to revisit that subject. Just go ahead and watch that video. It's like 5 minutes long. It's nothing too serious. But Lamar is now 5th in the NFL in passing yards. He's top 10 in the NFL in rushing yards because reasons. He has 1,800 total yards of offense, passing plus rushing. Most teams, a lot of teams don't even have that. Let's put that into perspective. So, wow.
Before we get into Gruden, just a couple more bullet points here. Minnesota beating Detroit on a field goal at the end.
That's a very anti-Minnesota loss.
Yeah, it is. Poor Jared Goff. I mean, the Lions cannot buy a win this year right now, it feels like.
No.
Goff is now what, like 0-15 without McVay in his career or something like that?
Oof. Yeah, Goff had been like pretty average for the first 4 games. He wasn't very good against Minnesota. Yes, they did take the lead late, 17-16. I get it, but if Alexander Mattison doesn't fumble, you're not in that situation. So
they would have a win. They would have a win if they had Justin Tucker nailing the 66-yard field goal was just unreal.
I'm going to call BS there. I think Baltimore is the better team.
Baltimore is the better team, 100%.
Well, yeah, they played better on that day too. If Marquise Brown does not drop 2 touchdowns,
that's important too.
Baltimore rocks and rolls them. So I do want to make a little point before we move on to other games. When you have these comebacks, acknowledge that it's both a comeback and a collapse. So don't say, well, Indianapolis, all of their players were hurt. Give Lamar some credit. But at the same time, if you're just Lamar is the god, he is awesome. Give the Colts some blame there because they couldn't stop anything late in the game.
Absolutely.
Yes, your Lions are going for the number 1 pick there. So congratulations.
I mentioned the 0-5 Lions, the only NFC West or NFC team without a win this year so far. The only NFC team without a loss, or the only team in the NFL without a loss, the Cardinals. They edged the 49ers 17-10. That was kind of a snooze fest of a game. I'd say that was more the defenses showing out. I thought maybe this would be a little more explosive. The Cardinals' offense didn't really explode like it usually does. Hopkins made a hell of a catch in the end zone. That was unreal.
There were, I think, back-to-back plays, right? Kyler like underthrew. Kyler was like injured his like shoulder, so you hate to see that, but he just like
it didn't matter, obviously.
Yeah, just kind of like chucked it up in the air, and then DeAndre Hopkins is going to win the jump ball against 99.9% of.
That's literally the screw it. DeAndre is out there somewhere meme, pretty much.
Yes, it is. So, congratulations to the Cardinals. They're 5-0 for the first time since 1974.
Not bad. I'm out of bullet points, so we should move on to Jon Gruden.
I don't remember if I called or gave a big shout out to the Falcons, but big shout out to the Falcons for beating the Jets. And actually, bird teams in general. The Eagles had a gigantic week. They won. First of all, they won, so they're moving in the right direction. But Miami lost. That helps out their pick. Indianapolis lost. That helps out their pick. And Carson Wentz played 100% of snaps. You might get it. I think Indianapolis is trending in the wrong direction, and you can say all that you want that they have enough games to salvage. They got to ball out in those games. You can't drop anything. Like they really have to beat San Francisco. They need to beat Tennessee in a couple weeks. Indianapolis is in a precarious position. Say all you will that they should have beaten Baltimore. I get it, but they're 1-4. They're 1-4.
Yeah.
Shall we touch on another team, a team that's falling a little bit? They were 3-0. Now they're 3-2, and now they don't have a coach.
Yeah. It's kind of a disaster right now with the situation. We're not going to get into any specifics because it was pretty disturbing what happened or what he said.
So for the listeners, think of if you've ever played on Xbox or PS4. Think of
like a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, pretty much.
Yeah. Think of any like first-person shooter lobby. Just think of that. Or think of getting in like a really toxic group chat. Jon Gruden, a grown man, decided he was going to, air out his frustrations in email. Look, idiot, idiot, moron, hooligan. What? Come on now.
Just plain stupid what he did. I mean, that's really all I gotta say. I don't. Again, we don't want to get into anything specific, but that was just what Gruden did was completely stupid.
So I do think this really hurts the Raiders because as much crap as Gruden gets for head coach and picking guys like Leatherwood and Farrell and stuff like that, he is a good offensive mind. He is getting guys open. He is a big reason why Darren Waller is Darren Waller now. He is a big reason why Henry Ruggs blew up early in the season. He's a big reason why Derek Carr has played so well the last couple of years. And now he's gone. And you are not getting Jon Gruden back. You are not getting maybe a little bit of the influence is there, but you're not getting the original copy. So sell your Raiders stock if you weren't selling already. I sold mine 2 weeks ago and they were 3-0 and they've lost 2 in a row now.
I didn't believe in them when they were 3-0. I didn't think they would have. I thought the 3-0 start was nice and all, but I didn't think they'd be able to make it last, and this just hurts it even more.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you want to hit on some extraneous sports?
Yes.
I heard a certain rubber puck,
vulcanized rubber puck disc, whatever you want to call it, is returning to the ice tonight. It's hype. Hockey season's finally back. We're excited. It starts out with Tampa Bay. The Lightning will be defending their Stanley Cup title. They're going to be raising their Stanley Cup banner for the first time in front of fans too. I say for the first time. It's actually the second time, but for the first time during the actual home opener, because last year they opened the season by revealing the banner, but there were no fans allowed, so they waited until fans were allowed to raise it.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Wait a minute. This is the first time they have actually opened. They've opened the next season with fans after winning the cup.
Second time, because they won the cup in like 2004.
2005, there was a lockout.
Oh yeah, true. There was a lockout. Oh my goodness, that's a mind grenade right there.
Whoa, poor Calgary. Wow, that's like the nugget about the Ravens in 2013. They're the only. In recent memory, they're the only Super Bowl winning team to not open the next season at home. They had to go to Denver because the Orioles were playing, and then Peyton Manning dropped 7 touchdowns. Oh man, that was such a stupid game. Hockey is back. The Kraken play today, right?
Yes,
Against
that's
Vegas?
the other game. That's the only other game that's happening today. There's only 2 games today. Tomorrow was when we see a lot more games, but it's the first game ever for the Seattle Kraken. They go up against the NHL's 31st team, the Golden Knights. I'm taking the Golden Knights in that one, but I think it'll be close. I feel like the Kraken might surprise us a little bit. You just never know what will happen here. But
how are you feeling about Seattle this season? Like, are you feeling, can they be a new age Vegas and make a playoff run, or are they going to be more of a traditional expansion team?
I don't think they're good. What Vegas did, first of all, I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I don't think we're ever going to see another expansion team make a Stanley Cup final run.
True. I agree with that.
I don't think the Kraken, I don't think in the expansion draft really went that aggressive. Like, yeah, they took some really strong players, but to be fair, a lot of the teams that they
Mark
took.
Giordano?
Yeah, Mark Giordano. But like in some other cases, you had like I also like the Jordan Eberle pick from New York. But then in other cases, like they took who did they take? They took Yanni Gourde from Tampa Bay. That's no huge loss to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay just had way too many talented players for them to be able to protect.
For sure.
So, some of them they couldn't really miss on those picks, but some of the picks I think they missed out. I don't like the they took Curtis McDermott from the LA Kings. I was more than happy with that because McDermott is not that great of a player. The only thing that concerns me is if the Kings end up playing against him or they actually traded him. So there you go. Actually, so there goes that point I was just about to make. But
it happens.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs. If they do, I don't think they make the Stanley Cup final. It'll be ridiculous if they do. I will throw a rampage if they do because like that's the second Pacific Division team to make it to the Stanley Cup finals in year 1. I mean, that just sucks.
But
it's exciting. I like that the NHL's finally found their balance when they realigned most recently in like 2013. It was they had
Detroit moved to the east.
They had 14 teams in the West, 16 teams in the East. It was weird. Balance has been restored. They moved the Coyotes to the Central, and Seattle takes their spot in the Pacific. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to checking out the NHL on ESPN for the first time in who knows how long.
Yeah, actually, I might. Although I do need to sleep, but I will. I want to watch more hockey. I wish I didn't have as much of a school commitment, but that's okay.
That's fair.
Major League Baseball playoffs. I said the breaking news earlier. The Houston Astros are advancing to the American League Championship Series. So both series in the AL are wrapped up. Boston at Houston. Done. But National League coming down to the wire. We have Game 4 in Atlanta. The Brewers lead 2-0 right now. And we have Game 4 in Los Angeles. Your Dodgers face elimination.
I need Walker Buehler to put up the performance of his life, man.
Walker Buehler is coming out there. How do you feel? Are you confident? When we talk in a couple hours, will there be a Game 5? Yes or no?
I think if the Dodgers offense wakes up and we actually get what we need to see out of guys like Mookie and Cody Bellinger and Trey Turner as well, then I think that, yes, we could very well be talking about a Game 5 because Game 3 was 1-0. The Dodgers had every opportunity to get some points in late scenarios, and I mean, who the heck knows?
Said LOL to you.
Yeah, pretty much. So as long as Walker Buehler plays, like I think he's playing on like his shortest rest ever.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time he's ever been on 3 days rest.
Yeah, this is. So, I need him to clutch up. He really has to clutch up. The Dodgers offense has to clutch up. They can do it. They just have to execute. If they can execute, we're probably looking at a Game 5.
And I am on pins and needles right now. The Brewers lead 2-0 in Atlanta, Game 4. Game 5, I believe, would be Max Fried pitching on 4 days rest. Ian Anderson, Christy Mathewson in the flesh might be available out of the bullpen. I do like the idea of getting 2 chances to close out Milwaukee is important. But at the end of the day, you actually have to win one of them. It's one thing to have 2 chances like San Francisco. It's one thing to have 2 chances. You have to capitalize on the chances. So I don't know. I don't know. The Braves have 2 golden opportunities to book their ticket back to the NLCS and then take a trip out to California. So go Braves.
Coming down to the wire.
Yes, it is.
All right,
Anything else you want to touch on?
I think that pretty much just wraps us up. I thought there was something. Outside. Yeah, there was something else I was going to bring up, but I completely forgot what it was. So I'll probably remember later and throw it in the comments or whatever.
Happens.
Episode 40. It's hard to believe, honestly, that we've been going for this long, but here we are.
The extra large bowl. What a time to be alive. Make sure you guys like the stream. Smash that like button for 40 episodes. Jack, you've been on what, 38 of them?
Yeah, I think I've only missed 2. So
okay. Good stuff. So great attendance there. So
I did actually miss one, but we did the pre-recorded segment, so I guess it still counts.
Right. Yeah, I think both of us would have missed that one. Right?
Yeah,
we just decided to pre-record it,
or maybe I don't remember how it works.
Oh, we had that one a couple weeks ago that we had like that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That was funny. Yeah, I was thinking of the one I was in Vegas. So, anyways, tangents aside, make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at UStadium. You can follow Jack and I
at UStadium_NHL for tonight. I'll be tweeting the games.
Ooh, I might drop you a follow there.
Yeah,
I might be on a follower limit, so that's rough. Anyways, ring a ding ding, that Le'Veon bell, that notification bell, so you can be updated when all of our shows go live. We have some new shows. I'll announce real quick. First off, tonight, Fantasy Show returns. Week 6, waiver wire. Tomorrow, new show. We have the Will and his co-host are bringing is it the Play Action Pod? That's right, the Play Action Pod.
I think that's what it's called. I don't remember.
Okay, the Play Action Pod is coming to U Stadium, the U Stadium Live Network. They are bringing on guest host Dean Blandino. Yes, that Dean Blandino. Congratulations to the guys there. So that's super exciting. And also, we have a new live show featuring an NFL player, Damon Snacks Harrison and Sonny Carton. Episode 1 is live. Go check it out on the YouTube. It's pre-recorded. They'll be going live every Saturday at 1 p.m.
It's hype.
You excited, Jack?
I'm hyped for that one.
All right.
All right. I made that real quick, even though I just said it, but there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So
been out tonight.
Thank you guys for watching. And remember, everyone,
Aaron Donald trains with knives.
Yes, he does. I do want to point out for a second that Cam Hayward is grading out better than Aaron Donald, which Aaron Donald is ridiculous. I don't want to take anything away from Aaron Donald, but Cameron Hayward has been absolutely phenomenal for the Steelers.
He looks great. So
big shout out there. Aaron Donald does train with knives.